Hi, I'm Mike Irvin, and this is Dan. We're the CPA broadcasters here to talk about audit function. I'm an audit partner. Dan is internal accounting at a manufacturing company.
Happy to be here and talk a little bit about the issues that face the relationships that we have as auditors and that we have as companies that use auditors. Some of the most recent regulations that come out seem to be coming hard and fast and require us to maintain a lot of communication with each other, more often than quarterly or as often as auditors and companies might have historically interacted. So Mike, what's your perspective on things like PCAOB, the Dodd-Frank Act, and all this regulation that's coming at us? What's that doing to our relationship?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I deal with that all the time. Really I think the importance here is open lines of communication. I think there is a lot of regulations coming out, and I think it's important to have regular meetings with our clients and talk about those things and how they affect the relationship, the engagement, the scope of services, as well as fees that are involved. I'm at a small firm, 250 people, not small, but not an international firm, and I think it's important that our focus is to try to get the partners, the managers, out of the client, talking about those things and talking about them in advance. If there's things that are coming down the pipe, we want to talk about them and talk about the impact before they happen. We don't want to be coming back after the fact with a problem at the last minute or extra fees at the last minute that the client doesn't know about. We want to talk about those things in advance and be open, have open lines of communication. I know we're the third party, but often we're part of the team. I think we're on the same team fighting for the same goal.
Often what happens in our company is we need to make sure that there's communication that flows from the audit group throughout the organization, and that means to management, other management members, and to the audit committee. The interaction that we have with those folks is important to be in step with the communication with the audit firm. So I couldn't agree more with the expediency and the need to maintain regular and constant communication whenever something comes up. For instance, if you have an issue come up that may impact maybe even intra-quarter, the coming quarter's results, reporting, that kind of thing, I think it's incumbent upon the client to make sure that the auditor is aware of it, the auditor is included in the decision-making process as we go through it, and figure it out ahead of time so we're not waiting there right before we release earnings trying to figure out the last-minute issue and then get it through the audit committee, the president of the company, the other folks in the organization, internal audit, whoever might be involved. Maybe it's operational. So I think it's critical, especially with all these moving parts with the governmental regulation. All right, well, I think that what this means to me is that there has to be a fundamental recognition of a change in the relationships that we have historically had into the new environment, the new, more actively engaged, fast-paced, ever-changing environment. It has to be recognized. It has to be taught. It has to be trained in our group and in yours.
I agree, and I encourage that 100%. I think oftentimes the audit-client relationship is sometimes adversarial, and we want you to come up with a decision, our industry does, and we want to audit that, but I encourage that a transaction happens and something takes place. There's communication right from the beginning, right along the way, and there's no surprises at the end. It makes the solution much easier if everyone's on the same page throughout the process.
Well, I think I agree 100%. Let's stick it to them and make sure that we communicate, and we'll ensure that there's no miscommunication to the outside world by keeping it real on the inside world that we operate in.
Sounds great. We'll make the commitment to keep in touch on a regular basis. So our suggestion is to keep the lines of communication open from the auditor and client relationship on a regular basis.
And we think that's a fantastic idea, and it's only going to work to our mutual benefit.